Hello and welcome to Affinity. I've been asked about the zone system, which is a system that was developed by famous photographer Ansel Adams and his mentor Fred Archer. Ansel Adams was famous for photographing the Yosemite area in the Rockies in America. Absolutely beautiful place, my favorite place in the world. And what he did was he was photographing in black and white. So this is just the black and white part of a picture we're talking about as well. He had a system whereby, because of the way that worked, was you photograph for the shadows, you expose for the shadows, so you're getting detail in the shadows, and then during the chemical process of development, he could then get more information into the whites. When you photograph with a camera, you do this, the digital camera, you do this the other way around, where you expose for the highlights and you then work backwards down to the shadows, where you can pull out a surprising amount of information. So these differences already, it was about black and white photography going from shadows. We're often using color photography, digital, and exposing from the lights. So that is something that's immediately different, but nevertheless it is useful. So let's look a little bit more about it. There are various descriptions, but by and large these give a rough description of what you might expect in the various zones. 0 is pure black. It's not slightly black or blacks as is often used, although you can use it like this. One thing to say about this is use what you like. This is 0 to 10. You can also use 0 to 5, which is things like whites, highlights or shadows, midtones, highlights, and whites. That's 0 to 4, isn't it? But it's a five zone system. There's also there's a 7 zone system whereby each color change is supposed to be one stop, but I've also seen that described as this is one stop on your camera as well. So when you're taking a photograph, you can only expose for one of these, of course, because then the camera does the rest. You might pick something, so you can use it during taking photographs. One of the things about this, let's just take this for a moment, and if I pick the colors on this, I'm going to drag colors up on this square, and when you look at this here, it looks pretty much black, doesn't it? If you just looked at that was all you're looking at, you'd say it's pretty much black. But look where the sliders are. They're getting up to, that's around about 20% before you start to see any real change in color. And it's the same at the other end. You start from white and you come down. You can only see that is white really because of the white around it. If that was outside, you'd say that's white. So what this means is that this is the most common zones you're going to use are actually in the middle. Here, in fact, 3 to 7 are often mentioned, so you're getting down to lower zones normally. Maybe 2 up to 8 and so on. But that's where most common things are. And so you get here are the descriptions. I don't have to read them out. You can read what they are. Pause the video if you need to. A way of thinking about this is to say, well, black's black, white's white. That gives us 9, so we can have 3 groups of 3, particularly if you're used to thinking in terms of shadows, midtones, highlights, and whites and blacks. So you can think as the bottom 3 here, 1, 2, and 3, as dark shadow, mid shadow, and light shadow. And then you've got dark, mid, and light midtones, and dark, mid, and light highlights. Just as a way of thinking about it. I find it easier myself to think about it that way. Then what you're going to do is take these, and in photo editing you can look at these here and say, what are the areas in which I want to do this? So I need to apply these to here, and I'm going to talk about that in more detail in the next video. So thank you very much for watching.